Hello and welcome to the Dominion Daily for February 11th, 2026. We've got Hinterlands and Menagerie, and we've got Spice Merchant for copper trashing, and then Develop, Scrap, and Jack can all do estate trashing. Jack does give you the silvers back, so it's not really thinning, but turning estates into silvers is still generally good. And in conjunction with scrap could be good. Also with stables. So draw-wise, we've got Paddock and Stables. Stampede can also give you a one-shot source of draw. Plus actions, Border Village, Snowy Village, Paddock if a couple of piles empty. And then gains, Kiln, Scrap can give plus buy, but it's not net gains unless you like regain silvers with it. So like if you or horses, I guess. Basically if you scrap a card and you take plus buy and you take at least one of silver or horse, then it can be net gains. Anyway, Snowy Village is plus buy, nomads as well, and then develop it as actually net gains so long as you trash something at the right price point to gain two things with it. I suppose Paddock generating horses in conjunction with some of this other stuff could act like gains as well. More so scrap. I mean, developing horses, like you'd have to take an estate. You don't really want to do that, but you know, you could scrap, like with the obviously you'd be decreasing your draw, but the combination I was talking about, you know, scrap is net gains if you trash a card and then you take the plus buy and you take, you know, the horse or the silver. You could also take silver and horse, and that's still net gains. It's not necessarily as, you know, directly translatable into payload at that point, but in any case, but you could also scrap horses from Paddock, and then like the combination of these two could be giving you those gains. Anyway, that's probably all more complicated than it really needs to be. Like Snowy Village can give you plus buy, Nomads can give you plus buy. It's worth thinking about sometimes if scrap is the only source of plus buy, but here, I don't think we're going to have to worry about that too much. In terms of what we're aiming for here, I think, obviously, we're going to want to get a bunch of border villages that beget 5 costs. I think the fact that stables is on the board means that we don't necessarily need to trash all of our copper, although we could, again, play with Jack and have silver in place of copper. Obviously, silver is better than copper, so that could make sense. I would expect border villages to empty at some point, so paddocks, you know, are probably going to be non-terminal like relatively quickly. So between stables and paddock for draw, I mean, I think a mix of both is reasonable. I guess the thing that this is all like leading to the question of is do we want to open Spice Merchant? Do we want to open Jack? Developing estates here doesn't seem amazing, doesn't seem terrible. Like one estate into a Snowy Village looks good. Eventually, I think playing with a develop looks pretty good because developing nomads is quite a strong thing to do. Developing a 5 cost into like Border Village nomads also potentially a strong thing to do. So Playing with develop probably makes sense, but opening with it, I think scrap looks better to start with. And if we're going to start with scrap, then that suggests going with Spice Merchant to start with as well. Partially because Spice Merchant can be played... Like, we don't have to worry about Spice Merchant drawing the scrap dead or something. Although Jack is pretty unlikely to do that. And partially just because, like, if we're getting scrap to trash estates, then we don't need Jack to trash estates. I still do think Jack could be a relevant card to play with later in the game. Just because, like, the silver gaining could be good. But... for the early game, I think I'm leaning scrap Spice Merchant. And yeah, I guess we'll see how the early shuffles go. Bot has the same opening. We could take a Jack now already. I don't think that's unreasonable. Yeah, let's do it. So we have Spice Merchant Estate down there. We really don't want to see those two cards together. I mean, we're not going to not see any coppers, but... Card action off the scrap is pretty sad, though. Maybe we just take a snowy here and don't draw. Go like... go silver horse. It's pretty annoying. Like, the coin doesn't really get us anything. Card without action, 50-50 chance to be very sad. Card action still has a 50-50 chance to be sad. I guess the argument for card at all is, you know, if we do draw the estate, if we draw the Spice Merchant, then we're gonna trigger a shuffle without the scrap or the Spice Merchant in it anyway, so it's not really accomplishing a whole lot. Yeah, I think it's just silver horse, snowy. The bot also bottom decked its Spice Merchant, but did hit 5. Okay, so we have scrap and Snowy Village down here, so we could stop here and play Jack as Seal, and then top deck like a Stables or a Paddock. I think I prefer... I mean, it would be good to trash the estate. Oh, wait. No, we already have 6 cards in hand, so we wouldn't draw. On the other hand, getting a 5 cost does look a lot better than getting a 4 cost, so like maybe trashing the estate isn't even as valuable anyway. Is Stables what we would want, or is Paddock? I think, as long as we see the Snowy Village, I think I prefer Paddock here, because Stables is going to trigger a shuffle. And like, it's a good time to add a Paddock, because we're going to... I mean, even if we don't see the Paddock, if we see the scrap plus the estate, that's fine. Like, we can take action. Yeah. It's a good time to add a paddock because we get to immediately get the horses, and we don't have the shuffle where it's like, oh, we have to draw and play the paddock, and then, you know, it becomes draw. So I think I like that. Not find the scrap. Annoying. Okay, border village for sure. Probably a stables. Probably a stables. That's an annoyingly good turn from the bot. Is there any way we would play Spice Merchant for coins by? Is there any way that we have enough draw that we don't need to play the horse? Questions, questions. We're gonna get by from the Snowy Village, so we're unlikely to need that for the buy. It would just be a question of for the payload. I guess the reason to potentially do that would be to draw cards with the jack, but draw more cards. Yeah, I'm not gonna bank on that. Okay. We do not have. Oh, we have a horse down there though. I was gonna say we have the jack down there, and we don't have any plus actions. We do have the horse. It is a little bit tempting to seal the scrap so that we can top deck another border village. Well, we can just draw a card with the scrap. Maybe go card horse or something. We have 6 coins. Getting a 7th coin or an 8th coin isn't really going to help. And then maybe if we draw the jack, we could seal that. Or the horse. Yeah. There's the horse. Okay. Yeah, I think I like sealing this. Oh, right. I wasn't even thinking about the interaction with Paddock. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay. What? Why is this showing a horse? Oh, is it because I played the horse is the card that I played? I guess. I don't know. Right. So we came pretty close to drawing deck here, and we did just trash a copper and an estate. And we didn't play like the last horse from the paddock. So I think we can reasonably expect to draw deck here unless our cards line up particularly poorly. However, maybe we still want to be taking another stables just to make sure that the alternative, I think, would be to take like a kiln. We wouldn't top deck that, but kiln to start printing more border villages would be good. It's just a little greedy maybe at the moment. Although with 2 horses top decked, it might not be so bad. We have 4 total horses in the deck. The one we gained from the scrap, the one we just sealed, plus the 2 from the paddock, and then we have the stables. So that's increasing hand size by 6. And then Spice Merchant, we could essentially say turns copper into not a stop card. Border Village, Snowy Village, the Border Village here, those are all not stop cards. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Jack is basically not a stop card. Like, it can at least go, if we play it immediately after the Border Village, it'll draw a card. So, like, we have an estate down there. We have copper in our discard. The 4 coppers we just played. We should have another copper down there as well. Right, we top deck 3 cards. So we have, yeah, copper, estate, Jack. And then we have, like, yeah, we're right about drawing deck. Maybe it's worth, I mean, even if we don't, like, fully draw deck, like, getting the kiln anyway, just because, like, of how much that powers up our payload and stuff. I think I'm gonna do it. It is unfortunate in general, I suppose, that Jack can't trash the estate before it draws. We do get to trigger the shuffle before we gain the silver. Oh, never mind. No, we don't. That's wrong. Oh. Yeah, no, this is still, I think this is still the thing to do, and then we can scrap the silver instead of the estate. Okay, so in theory, I would like to kiln this Border Village. We will need to play Snowy Village first, so may not be possible, but we'll give it a shot. All right, let's go ahead and do that. The 3 cards down there are Kiln, Snowy Village, and Stables. Well, guess we're gonna play the scrap for card action horse. Damn it! We just needed to see the stables before the end of the shuffle. Or the Snowy. Like, what the heck? Okay, do we want to kiln stables or paddock? Well, if we kiln paddock, we can't, like, gain and play it this turn. Right? I mean, okay, we'd have to burn a horse to do it, the horse that we just got from the scrap, and then we don't have anything to top deck with. So we need to play the stables first. We draw the Snowy, and then we need to play the Snowy to get the actions to play Kiln into paddock. Whereas if we, yeah, I think we just Kiln the stables. Okay. So we do want to play the snowy. All right, we do the copper. What is that last card? That's the stables, right? Okay, good. Okay, so let's see. Oh, oops. Right. So we're definitely getting another border village. We only have 5 treasures in our deck right now. I mean, going forward, we can be like scrapping the Jack Silver and regaining the silver, if that makes sense. Which will help with that, but wondering if we should not take another stables. We could take another kiln, another paddock, maybe. Does it make sense to top deck enough stuff to play a paddock before triggering the shuffle? Border Village paddock. But then, like, we don't really want to top deck a kiln. Yeah, maybe not. If we're not going to get the horses into the shuffle, then top decking the paddock is bad. We should also be thinking about more buy. Oh, I guess scrap is going to be the short-term answer to getting more buys. There's also the develop nomads thing. We could gain a nomads and then we get to gain another border village. Maybe that's better. We could always just scrap the nomads too instead of developing it, if that ends up making sense. Yeah, I think getting a nomads makes sense. I'll get another border village. Like that. And now we could top deck a paddock. We don't get to do the develop thing yet, but that's fine. We can put some horses into the shuffle. Okay, we're not going to be able to kiln this border village unless we find Snowy Village first, and we're not really likely to want to do that. But I guess we can just play the horses first anyway, but most likely we're going to want to play this on the third border village. Okay, well, we can already do that, so let's do that. I guess I don't know what we're actually going to want to gain with it, though. That decision a little bit later, perhaps. It could certainly be just another paddock. Oh, what's down there? One more copper. The jack. And another paddock? We have 3 paddocks. Maybe not. Another horse? That seems like a reasonable assumption. Maybe we do take coins by with the Spice Merchant this turn. Okay, we'll have all the information we're gonna have. Oh, never mind. We don't get to draw the card first. I think it's got to be Paddock, unless we wanted to gain and develop. I feel like we don't have quite enough draw and actions to make that work right now. Next turn. Well, next turn there aren't going to be any border villages left. Well, this is tricky. Tricky. I mean, 2 buys is probably enough for this turn to get the last 2 border villages. So from that perspective, we could scrap the nomads. Then the other thing we have to think about is what are we using the kiln to gain once the border villages are empty? I mean, I guess it could be correct to not empty them, but I don't think so. This is where all the plus actions are coming from. I mean, Paddocks becoming non-terminal does decrease the strain, the action strain, admittedly. I don't know. You can definitely do cool things here with develop, but I think I'm just going to take a paddock. Oh, it was another border village. Oh, okay. Do we want horses in this shuffle? I think we are going to have to play Spice Merchant for draw, just because, just to get... We have Border Village, Paddock, 2 coppers. We have 3 stop cards to draw through. Jack's not going to help with that. Snowy will help, Border Village will help, and then we'll have 1 card left, which I guess we could draw with Scrap. Okay. And then I think it's not worth trying to like top deck into like the next shuffle with an actual card like draw rather than just using seal. Dum-ba-dum. Okay, so ideally, we'd like to play the Snowy Village after the Border Village. I don't know if it matters. have 6 actions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could matter. Yeah, it could matter if we wanted to play them all. So we scrap. I think we don't scrap the nomads this turn. Well, I do want to hit 12. We've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, so we don't need... We got the paddock down here. Yeah, we don't need the nomads... Or sorry, not snow. We don't need the snowy to generate money to give us buys. That being said... Oh, sorry, the scrap. That being said, card... Well, if Spice Merchant is going to trash copper for buys, we don't need to buy from scrap. Because we're going to get 1 buy from Snowy and 1 buy from Spice Merchant. So I think we are scrapping nomads for card. Card silver. Well, I guess it'd be like ideal to do this after playing Jack as seal and then top deck the horse, but presumably we'll get enough horse top decking without that. So card, silver, horse. If we take coin, maybe that helps. Okay. Drew the paddock. So down here we have a border village and a copper. This we have 5 actions. Which is enough. Okay. Or we just top deck the border village, that's fine too. Okay. All right. We're definitely getting the last 2 border villages. That gives us... If we take 1 nomads with that, then we have enough to buy a province, which might be a good idea. Piles are getting low. Probably the bot isn't really threatening anything in particular with that, admittedly, but... Having 1 nomads in the deck will be useful anyway, if for no other reason than as a scrap target. I think I'm just taking another paddock. I don't really think we need other stables. We still only have the 5 treasures in the deck. One of which is the silver that's in the discard, but... We could top deck the paddock, as we've been doing, or have done once anyway, and get the horses into the shuffle before we trigger it, and then take a province. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe we were supposed to play with develop on this board, but this feels like kiln was the more efficient approach. Nomads, nomads, gold. Okay. You're doing that with 2 stables in your deck. Okay. Well, we can't kiln border villages anymore, so no sense worrying about that. I suppose we could have sealed one of these to top deck, but that seems a little unnecessary. Might not be a bad idea at some point moving through this shuffle to do that with paddocks if seems like we need it. Like right here, we could. What do we have down there? Apparently we have 7 border villages. That's a lot of border villages. Anyway, we've got a couple more coppers. The Spice Merchant, the Jack, the Province, the Snowy, another Stables, and I think this is all of our paddocks. Maybe one more horse. I mean, we can definitely kill in a paddock. It's probably not important to scrap the nomads rather than just sealing it. I mean, I'd probably rather seal the Jack. Can't always have everything, though. Yeah. Let's just do that and make sure. I'm not going to top deck the paddock itself. All right, the last card is what? I don't know. It doesn't matter, I guess. Well, it matters a little bit. We want to. It's probably a horse. We could gain a silver with Jack, and then like right now, if we discard with Stables, then we draw with Snowy. We have exactly drawn our deck. If we want to gain and play the silver from the Jack, that's probably not worth spending a horse on, which is what I assume that is. So, oh, it was a. I guess it was a paddock. Oh, okay. Well, whatever. Yeah, I was gonna say it would be in theory we want to play the paddocks before the Snowy because of the actions, but we actually have plenty of actions and actually want if we're gonna gain a silver with the Jack, I want to do that before top decking all the horses. Are we in fact going to gain a silver with the Jack? So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 23. If we seal the Jack, we can hit 24. That seems like a good thing to do. Unless somehow we have a win here. But we don't, because we don't have enough gains. Yeah, there was maybe a line here that would, I don't know, not require like emptying the provinces or whatever, but I think emptying the provinces is a fine thing to do. The bot has a lot of horses compared to how many paddocks I think it has. I wonder if it like has been saving them or something. The bot will probably also help us empty the provinces. Like, I don't think we're realistically capable of quadding. We'd need... Like, we could gain a silver with the jack, we could scrap into more money, whatever. Whoa, the bot has more payload than I thought. I mean, not that it was like any, you know, any threat to win the game or something, but that's a better turn than I thought it was capable of. But maybe that is because it was staving up horses for a while. I don't think I'm going to be able to check into that right now because the log hates information, but after the game, I'll check that out. Guess we'll kill another paddock, but that's another thing that we can do to increase our payload. But I don't want to do that just yet. Well, alternatively, we use the kiln as a seal. Probably better. We're safe than sorry. Might as well do some more of this. Okay. So, getting a silver from the jack seems like a sensible thing to do. Discard it, sure, whatever. Also top decking more horses with paddock. So scrap nomads gives us as much money as playing the nomads. But then we can also gain another silver. So that seems better. Unless we care about the buy. But we can get the buy from the scrap. Coin, buy, silver. Card and horse kind of comes out to the same thing. Then snowy, we play a horse, and we go seal, 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 and we have way more money than we can use. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? In retrospect, I was supposed to scrap a silver, not the nomads. I don't know why I didn't think of that. And then I might have had exactly, maybe not. Would I have had enough for double duchy? I don't know. It doesn't matter. But okay, I wanted to look at what was going on with the bot's last couple turns. So this turn, bot played 3 horses. And like the previous turn, the bot played no horses. Turn before that, it played 2 horses. So like it gains 2 horses here. Plays no horses this turn and gains 4 horses. So at that point it has like 6 horses at least. And then here it plays 1, 2, 3 horses and gains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 horses. So it's like now it has like 9 horses, I think. Something like that. Yeah, and it played like 8 horses if I heard something. So yeah, I think what happened in this game overall is, number one, the bot didn't play with Kiln. Kiln printing Border Village is a lot more efficient than buying Border Village in terms of the payload that it requires of your deck. And number two, the bot didn't really use Way of the Seal. And I think, I mean, maybe it did at some point, but I didn't really register it. I think that like the seal acceleration of top decking all the horses is a big deal for making Paddock a better card. Not that Paddock is a bad card normally, but like you can see the bot like accumulating the horses with Paddock, but then still not like necessarily drawing the next turn. And I think that's a big part of it, is like doing this stuff. And I don't see the bot having done that, which is surprising. I don't know if, you know, sort of how the bot works internally, if the bot is like bad at evaluate, like if Way of the Seal is normally not that good, which I think is fair to say. Well, there are definitely situations in which it's really good, like with Necropolis, for example. And you would really not want to just ignore it. I'm just trying to think, like, why would the bot not consider using a thing like that? And like one way that it wouldn't is if it just like if like there's a lot of common situations where it's bad, and so it's like, you know, it weights it downwards and then it doesn't know to reevaluate it in a situation where it's good. And I think, I mean, I definitely think this was a well above average kingdom for Way of the Seal. I don't think I would normally use it this much, but I guess I would think that there's enough situations that Way of the Seal is relevant that ignoring it would be a weird thing to do, or weird like conclusion to draw from, you know, whatever training. But maybe there's other reasons why the bot wasn't using it, like it was running out of actions. I mean, running out of actions could certainly have been an issue, given that I took so many of the border villages. It did have a snowy village, so it's like, it's not like the deck lacks for actions exactly, but also has like a surprising number of nomads. Why does it have so many nomads? I think getting, you know, some nomads, there's some sense to that, especially if you're playing with Scrap or Develop, but like, here the bot had 8 coins and got a nomads and then a border village. That makes sense, right? Because then you get, it's like you leverage the 2 coins. extra that you otherwise would have had into something useful. So, you know, that's fair. And then, oh, this turn, we're gonna bought Nomads Gold. That's 11 coins. Yeah, I don't really get what this is accomplishing. I guess maybe the thought process here is like, okay, I've stored up a bunch of horses. I should draw next turn. I can just throw payload into my deck, and Nomads is like the most efficient way to add payload because it doesn't cost much. So you get like but then you run out of buys, and so you buy a gold or something like that. Yeah, there's a Snowy for a buy, a Nomads for a buy. Yeah, I think that's probably the thought process. Okay. Well, yeah, okay. I guess the having 3 Nomads in the deck at the end of the game isn't as indicative as I was thinking. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's mostly just the combination of not playing with Kill and then not playing with Way of the Seal that put the bot behind. I mean, obviously, you know, always being second player doesn't do the bot any favors either. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.